Psalm 84. What happens in this chapter? In verses 1 through 3, the psalmist longs for the house of God and compares this longing to birds finding their nests. In verses 4 through 7, he brings out the blessings of those who do dwell with God. In verses 8 through 12, he prays to be restored to God's protective presence. What should I meditate on? You may want to turn to this chapter when thinking about the pilgrimage to God's physical temple in Jerusalem, commanded in Deuteronomy 16, and the spiritual longing stemming from that commandment, the longing of all believers to abide in God's presence. Deuteronomy 16, verses 16 through 17 reads, 3 times in a year all your males shall appear before the Lord your God in the place which he chooses, at the feast of unleavened bread, and at the feast of weeks, and at the feast of booths. And they shall not appear before the Lord empty-handed. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you. In this psalm, notice that verse 3 shows how welcoming God's presence is, even accommodating the sparrow and the swallow, while verse 11 shows that such a welcome has its source in God's gospel of light, protection, grace, and glory. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord gives grace and glory. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk with integrity. We hear of 3 hidden beatitudes here, 3 blessings that ring alongside the blessings of the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5. Here they come in verses 4, 5, and 11. Verse 4 tells us, "Blessed are those who dwell in your house." Verses 5 and 11 unfold the spiritual dimensions of the blessing. Blessed is the man whose strength is in you, and blessed is the man who trusts in you. Meditate also on the valley of Baca in verse 6. This is an unknown location. Baca means either weeping or balsam trees. The flow of the verse suggests that it is a dry and barren passageway that the pilgrims to Zion make lush. How does their pilgrimage affect this green transformation? It may be the actual physical result of effective prayer, as we see Elijah, for example, praying for rain. It may be a physical transformation brought on by the bounty the pilgrims would have brought with them, as we heard about in Deuteronomy 16, verses 16 and 17. And they shall not appear before the Lord empty-handed. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you. Or, when the pilgrims passing through the valley of Baca make it a place of springs, they may have been effecting spiritual transformation, as they reckon the valley to be full of streams and wells through the power of their spiritual delight, their spiritual contentment, their spiritual hope. Finally, notice the rich variety of names by which God is invoked in this psalm. He's called the Lord of hosts, the Lord, the living God, my King and my God, you, God, Lord God of hosts, the God of Jacob, God our shield, my God, and the Lord God. What should I memorize? This whole psalm is worth memorizing for its manifold comforts, its manifold blessings. Verse 3 rings with preciousness. It reads, Yes, the sparrow has found a house, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young, even your altars, O Lord of hosts, my King and my God. And verse 11 is a majestic manifesto. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord gives grace and glory. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk with integrity. Now let's eat the chapter and read of the glories of God. I'll read my own translation, which has been checked against the KJV, NASB, and the Hebrew texts. Psalm 84, for the chief musician upon Gittith, a psalm of the sons of Korah. How lovely are your tabernacles, O Lord of hosts! My soul longs, yes, even faints for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. Yes, the sparrow has found a house, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young, even your altars, O Lord of hosts, my King and my God. Blessed are those who dwell in your house. They will be still praising you, Selah. Blessed is the man whose strength is in you. In their heart are the highways. Passing through the valley of Baca, they make it a well. The rain also fills the pools. They go from strength to strength. He appears before God in Zion. O Lord God of hosts, hear my prayer. Give ear, O God of Jacob, Selah. Behold, O God, our shield, and look upon the face of your anointed. For a day in your courts is better than 1,000. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of wickedness. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord gives grace and glory. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk with integrity. O Lord of hosts, blessed is the man who trusts in you.